Well, good day, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Before we get started, I just want to review a few technical items. At the bottom of your Zoom viewing screen, you will see audio settings and Q&A. Click on audio settings to ensure your preferred audio device is selected, and then select the speaker section so you can listen to the audio of today's event. There will be a Q&A portion during today's event, so please use the Q&A function to input any questions you may have throughout. We will address as many questions as possible during the Q&A portion of today's event. A couple of things to note: all participant audio is set to listen only, and this event is being recorded. And without further delay, I'll be handing things over to Juan.
Okay, good morning, and thank you everybody for joining us today for today's event. We are glad that you were able to make it. So let's go ahead and just get started and jump right into our agenda for today. We'll be starting things off with a safety moment, then going into some news to know. We'll do some team introductions and price information, and then we'll be looking at the program overviews, and then we'll follow that up with a Q&A with today's panelists. And if you have any questions throughout the virtual event, just make sure to put them into the Q&A section, and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can during this section. And then finally, winners to be contacted and post-event survey information at the end. Next slide. So we take safety very seriously here at Puget Sound Energy, and as some of you may be aware, we had some substation facility issues this past month. So we wanted to make sure, and we provided some information so that if you see anything suspicious or you see something going on around a substation facility, you can contact PSC Security Command Center at 1-844-473-4121 to put in a report. Things that you could possibly report there are abandoned vehicles in or around the substation, suspicious objects left at the substation, such as backpacks, boxes, bags, suspicious persons, damage to fences, gates, or equipment, persons taking photo or video of the substation, or people using drones or other remote control devices near the substation, transient camping around or near the substations as well. Next slide, please. If you see any of the following, you can go ahead and contact your local police department. If you see someone cutting or climbing substation fence or gates, if you see somebody trespassing, including transients, off-road vehicles, etc. If you see any illegal dumping, including abandoning vehicles, theft of materials or equipment, vandalism, which includes malicious damage, including tagging such as graffiti and etc., and illegal shooting or hunting. So all of those things, you'd want to contact your local police department. Next slide. So now for some news to know. PSC.com will be offered in multiple languages in January of 2023. Those languages include English, Chinese, Hindi, Korean, Russian, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Next slide. And now for some quick introductions. My name is Juan Farias Torres. I am a PSC Outreach Coordinator. Go ahead, Bill.
Hi, my name is Bill Richardson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Sales for Rainforest Automation.
Hello, good morning. My name is Elisa Filoni. I'm the Program Implementer for the Direct-to-Consumer team.
Hello, I'm Holly Mulvanen. I've been with Puget Sound Energy a little over 11 years and 7 years working as a program manager, and I currently oversee the home energy display pilot.
Good morning. I am Emily Rigg, and I am a program coordinator on our Energy Advisor team.
All right, and as I mentioned earlier, we will be giving away a prize today. So one lucky attendee will win a $100 gift card to the Home Depot. So stick around until the end of today's virtual event for more details on that. Next slide. All right, Bill, take it away.
Thanks, Juan. And good morning, everyone. And thank you for attending this webinar. I hope you get something useful out of it. And my job here is to tell you more about the EMU2 unit that you all have, and hopefully give you some inspiration to do some activities that can help you save energy and money. Next slide, please. So the EMU2, most of you have hopefully all turned it on and started using it. We like to think of it as a speedometer for your home. So it shows you how you're using energy right now, getting feedback directly from the meter, hopefully very easy to use. And I'm going to go over some of the features. The meter that you have on your home, the smart meter from PSE, has 2 radios in it. One is used by PSE to read your meter remotely, and that information is used for your bill. And there's also a small Zigbee radio in the meter, and that's what we use to connect. The range of that Zigbee radio, it's a very low power radio, so the range is about the same as Wi-Fi, there's sometimes some problems, and we're going to have people talk about that and see if we can help some people with problems they maybe have connecting to their meter. But I'm going to now talk about the features of the unit and how you can use it to go through a number of activities and save some energy. So if we go to the next slide. On the left, you can see this is a map of all the screens that are available on the device. And I'm going to talk about the first 3, which are the ones in yellow there. And so the first one is very simple. It's just the current time and date. If that looks wrong, then since we get that information from the meter, it means we're not talking to the meter. So hopefully that is the network time that is on every meter. The second one we call our meter reading screen, and it may not look exactly like I've shown it here. For most of you, you'll just see a number with kilowatt hours after it. And that number is the total accumulated kilowatt hours that have gone through that meter. And it's always, it's a continuous sum, and it doesn't reset at the end of your billing period. It just keeps increasing. For those of you who have a net meter, you'll see 2 lines like I showed there, from grid to grid. And we'll have someone talk about that later, but most of you just see the 1 number. The third screen is what we call our current usage screen, and this is the one people use most often. So this is the one that's like a speedometer. It shows you your current usage right now in the moment and the rate at which you're using electricity. The number at the bottom is in kilowatts. Notice I didn't say kilowatt hours. Again, someone will talk about the difference there. And the large number is the cost per hour based on the price that is entered into the device, either by you or by PSE, which is a blended average of the tiered pricing that's used here. All right, to the next slide, please. Okay, so these screens are a little bit more complicated. The first one is one that I like to use when I've been away for a while, like for a day or 2, because it shows you all of yesterday with a little graph, and that can give you an idea of what the whole day was like, and then today to this point, and so you can compare the current day with the previous day, but it also gives you a quick view of what happened on the previous day. There's a little number on the line between the 2 graphs, and that number is the value rounded to the nearest kilowatt hour of the highest peak in the graph. So that gives you an idea of the scale of the 2 graphs. There's a bar for each hour, so each of those bars in the graph is an hour, and shows you the usage, and then down below are the actual numbers. Now, related to that is what we call our totals to date screen. And this screen is, again, an accumulation screen that if you haven't done anything with it, it'll show you the totals since you got the device, since it connected to your meter. But hopefully you've had a chance to play with it a bit. It works kind of like a stopwatch. When you have it on the daily total screen and you push the top button and you hold it for 5 seconds, it will reset that screen and then push the totals that were on the totals to date screen into what we call the previous total screen. And so that freezes it. It's kind of like if you have a running watch with splits, this is your split time. And it freezes it for you, and you can see your totals in the previous total screen. Meanwhile, the current one is running and going. So it allows you, if you did it at the end of each month, you could see previous month and this month to date. So kind of like the yesterday and today screens, except for months. And so that that gives you a way to do longer term comparisons, and you can accumulate usage over a period of time and see what the total is for something like running something overnight or something like that. You can start it up, and then in the morning you can check the current total screen and see what happened over the course of the night. So go to the next screen. So there's the feature that I really like on this device we call our stoplight LEDs. So they are arranged in stoplight order with red at the top, yellow in the middle, and green at the bottom. And the reason we did this is because one of the founders of our company is actually colorblind, and he couldn't see if we had one LED that was different colors. He wasn't able to tell because he's red-green colorblind. So by having them in these positions, it allows you to tell very quickly what is happening. And this is used along with the current usage screen to show you quickly how you're using energy in this moment. The middle light, the red and yellow one, is what we call our baseline light. So that is based on a setting out of the factory. It's set at 500 watts, which may be really low for some people, really high for others. Our CEO has his set to 100 watts, which is like an old-fashioned light bulb, and somehow he's able to keep it below that when at night. So I don't know how he does that. I can't. But you can change the setting for the baseline simply by turning things on until the current usage screen shows the value that you want for your baseline. Then you press the top button and you hold it for 5 seconds, and that will reset the baseline to that value. And the red light will come on when you're 5 times that baseline. So in my old house, which was very large, it had a baseline of 1 kilowatt. And so the red light would only come on when I was 5 kilowatts or above, which is pretty high. But I did see that come on when when I had a lot of things turned on. The green light is when you're lower than your baseline. And one of the nice things about that is that from a distance, you can see if the green light is on, it means basically everything, like I said, is below the baseline. Most things are shut off. And so it's a good way to tell at the end of the night when you're heading up to bed. Just take a quick look and see that the green light is on. That means you haven't left anything on. So this is a nice feature, and it doesn't involve a lot of math, and you don't have to look at any numbers. You just look at the color of the lights. All right, on to the next slide. Okay, so let's think about some activities we could do with the device. The first one we call a power hunter activity. That's really just looking for large loads in your home that use a lot of power. And the easy way to do that is you put it on the current usage screen, you look at the value that it has, and you turn something on or off, and the difference is what that device is using. Some things to look at are things like your stovetop. And one of the cool things about an electric stovetop is it's not on all the time. It's actually cycling. And we had somebody call us once and say, I think my stove is defective because I keep seeing this big value and then it goes away and then it comes back. And I said, no, that's what electric stovetops do. A space heater, which is would be on for long periods of time, and then when the internal thermostat comes on, it would cut off. So you can watch that happen. Your clothes dryer, which uses, again, a lot of power. A hair dryer, again, anything that generates heat from electricity, so we call resistive heating appliances, tend to use a lot of power. So those are good things you can look at. And one that a lot of people don't think about is their microwave, which overall uses a lot less power than an oven, but it's because it uses an intense amount of energy for a short period of time. So you'd be surprised at how much that uses while it's on. Anyway, so this is a way of going through your house and trying to look at different loads and see how much they use. One of the things you can do is to put the batteries in the unit, and then you can walk around and doing that makes it easier to do than running back and looking at when it's plugged in. But I will caution you that the batteries, it's not meant to run on batteries all the time. They're just there for convenience. And so we encourage you to use it when it's plugged in, because the batteries deplete after about a month or so if you just run it on batteries. And so it's, but it's a nice feature if you need to, walk away from where it usually sits on your countertop and turn things on and off. You do, however, have to make sure that you stay within range of the meter, because otherwise you will lose connection. But don't worry, if you go back within range, it'll come back on. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so now that you've sort of found how to find the big loads, let's see if we can find what we call your always on load. So that's basically the stuff that's always on in your home. After you've shut everything off. You'd be surprised. There's a number of things to do. There's a number of things that do that. So if you go around and turn off everything in your home, don't use your breakers, because that's cheating, and we'll get to that in a minute. Because we're looking for things that are still on, even though you think you've turned them off. And you can look at the current usage screen and see how small you can make those numbers. And once you've shut everything off, then you've gotten to what we call the always on load. And to see what that costs you, if you look at the reading in kilowatt hours and you multiply by 877, that will give you your annual cost for that always on in dollars. So if 1 kilowatt is your always on, that's going to cost you $877 a year, which is a substantial amount and makes it really worth lowering that always on. And so let's talk about how you do that. So next slide, please. So we call this the vampire hunt. Vampire loads are those loads that, even though you think they're turned off, they still consume electricity. And those are mostly electronics. This was an innovation that was originally developed for televisions. If you're old enough like me to remember when you had to warm up the tube on your television before you could see a picture. I remember getting an instant on TV. It was a big deal because when you turned it on, it just came on right away. You saw the picture. You didn't have to wait a few minutes for the picture to warm up. And that's because it never went off. It stayed on all the time. And if you looked in behind the TV, you could see the lights of the tubes were still on. So it meant your TV was always on. It's just the picture itself was turned off. The phosphors were de-energized. And it was a great convenience, but used a lot of power. And you know what? Your new modern smart LED TVs, they do the same thing. They use a lot of power even when they're shut off. And so we're going to go hunting around looking for those vampire loads. And this is one where you can use the breakers. And if you have circuits, if you've already got down to your always on and you shut everything off, start turning the breakers on and off and find out which circuits in your breaker box still have vampire loads going. And that'll help you narrow down where they are. And once you find them, you'll find they are things like your TVs, cable box, game consoles, a computer. Some people leave their computers on all the time. They just turn the monitor off. Stereo equipment, coffee makers, toaster ovens, lots of things. Anything that uses one of those AC adapters, the little wall warts that go there, they are always using power unless you unplug it. Or an easier solution is to plug them into a power strip and then just turn the power strip off, and it turns everything off. And that finding those kind of loads will allow you to lower that always on load and not pay for stuff that's turned on all the time. All right, next slide, please. All right, so we'd like to take a little survey with you and find out what kind of major electrical loads you do have in your home. This helps us see what's out there, and so we can tailor programs, and PSC can tailor programs for for what you have. So take a moment and check any box that applies. All right, there. Hopefully everyone can see the result. Wow, lots of air conditioning. Okay. All right, I'm going to pass things on to Elisa.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone. I got a cold this weekend, so I hope I don't start coughing. I did take my medicine, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Again, my name's Elisa Filoni, and I've been at PSC. This year will be 20 years, which is woo! I can't believe it, 20 years. Welcome. This is the next section. I did look into the chat, and I see that several customers, several of you have said that it's searching for the meter, and that's common. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. So of course, the first one is searching for meter, which means that the meter, they're not talking to each other. Okay. So the next bullet point, which is the email address. Anytime you have any issues or any questions with your device, please message the Rainforest HAN@psc.com. There's two of us that monitor that email address, and we usually respond right away. So that's common. Sometimes there, something happens with your meter, or there's a glitch or something, and it's common to get the search for meter. Anytime that happens, just email that address and we can fix the problem. The second issue is it's stuck in demand. It's the same like with searching for the meter. Same issue. If you have any issues with that, please email the Rainforest HAN@psc.com and we will respond right away. The next common issue is price. Explain that the PSC price in kilowatt is a blended average and it's just an estimate. Okay, we decided that we were going to do one pricing, and as you can see towards the bottom, you'll see tier 1 and tier 2. So everyone has a tier 1. It's the first 0 to 600 kilowatts is at one pricing, which is 0.92 cents, and tier 2 is from 600 kilowatts to 20,000 kilowatts, and that's at 11 cents. And when we decided to do this pilot, we decided we're just going to do an average. So we put 10 cents, 0.10. Okay, so we'd appreciate it if everyone would keep it at that. I know it's not going to match your bill, but it's for the program, that's what we like to keep it at. If you have you can also do it yourself, but if you have an issue doing that, just go ahead and ask Rainforest at HAN@psc.com, and we will send the price to your device. Okay. Next slide. So another technical issue is that the device stops working, needs to be reset. So you need to reset the unit by removing power for about 10 seconds and make sure that the batteries are removed. Now, Bill said in the next email, when he was speaking, that it's best to keep the device plugged in and not on the batteries. And one of the reasons that I found out that that's best is because when you have it plugged in, you get a backlight, which is you can see the device, you can see the numbers and the information clearly. When you have it on batteries, there is no backlight. And as Bill said, the batteries run out faster. And it's best to keep it plugged in unless you're going to do any of the studies that Bill recommended to see how much some of your unit is, whatever your appliance is using. So please keep it plugged in. If there's no power to the unit, plug it in. Most common problems is it's running on batteries. If the unit works on batteries but not on the AC, then the adapter is faulty. So again, contact us at that email at the last slide, and we will help you with that. And then again, not connected to the meter, there may be a range, blockage, or interference. On rare occasions, there's an issue with the meter, so we might need to provision it again. Okay, next slide. So why doesn't the cost match my bill? You're only going to see the kilowatt charges, and on your bill, you're going to see other charges. You're going to see delivery charges, you're going to see taxes, you're going to see, so what you see is just an estimate, okay? And then you can, go on your bill. And of course, like I said in the last slide, the pricing is different. If you go above 600 kilowatts, it's going to be a different percentage and so forth. The second question is, can I see my solar usage? This is what Bill also talked about. You can see the electric delivery from the grid and then the surplus power return to the grid, which is on the right-hand side. The next question is, what is a kilowatt hour versus the kW? kW is the rate like a MPA, sorry, on the speedometer, and kWh is like miles on an odometer. So I hope that makes sense. Next slide. So have you had any experience of any of the below? This is a poll question, so go ahead and answer, which we would appreciate. We also put the email in the chat, so I would take that email down for if you have any questions whatsoever, go ahead and send an email to that email address and we will respond right away. Oh, great. Unable to connect. Oh, that's the big one. And price missing. Okay. Okay, great. So go ahead and email that email address and please include your name and your address, and we will help you with that. Thank you very much, and thank you for participating.
All right, there we go. Okay, now that you've learned how to best use and troubleshoot your HE device, what do you do with this information? Well, PSC has a few options. We're not going to leave you hanging on ways to lower your energy usage beyond behavioral changes and vampire hunts around the house. When I'm not managing the home energy display pilot, I'm a program manager in our retail rebates department. I wanted to highlight some of the offerings we have available to customers to help with investing in upgrading your home and lowering your energy use. Next slide. Before I get started, we have a quick poll to see what rebate programs everyone is aware of or has already participated in. Go ahead and put that up. Can't tell, are we getting answers? There we go. Alrighty, well, that's good to know and interesting. Go ahead and jump to the next slide. The first program I wanted to talk about was our retail lighting program. We have instant discounts in stores throughout our service territory. You'll see the list below, but it's not limited to Batteries Plus, Costco, Lowe's, or Home Depot. We also have some in mom and pop shops like Ace Hardware or McClendon's, and then also available on our PSC online marketplace. For 2023, the rebates for outdoor LED fixtures are $10, indoor LEDs are $3, string lights $3, T8s shop lights are $2, and T8s are $4. Qualifications for this program is you can't buy more than 6 in either product category, and you have to be a PSE electric customer, but you must also be shopping wherever you see the instant discount stickers or on our online marketplace. Next slide. We also do rebates on smart thermostats wherever they are sold, and we have instant rebates available at the PSE.com marketplace, or we just launched an Efficiency Boost marketplace. Efficiency Boost is a program we have for customers with higher rebates for those that have low to moderate income. If you think you might qualify, go ahead and go to psc.com/efficiency boost to read the qualifications. If you choose not to purchase from our marketplaces, if you want to access the application, that is available on psc.com/thermostats. For the smart thermostat, the everyday rebate is $75 and the efficiency boost rebate is $175. These thermostats tend to be used for centralized heating systems, are Wi-Fi enabled, and have an app to control them. They must be Energy Star certified to qualify for a rebate. Any home type that heats with PSE fuel is eligible, and it's 1 rebate per household. And you cannot have received a rebate from PSE in 5 years prior for the same address. We also do rebates on the connected line voltage thermostats. The everyday is $75 and the efficiency boost is $130. These type of thermostats tend to be used with baseboard heat. Any home that heats with PSE Electric is eligible, and it's 5 rebates per household. And it's similar to smart thermostats. You cannot have applied for a line voltage rebate and received it from PSE within 5 years prior to at the same address. Next slide. We also have laundry appliance rebates. Bill mentioned that in his presentation. The front load, that they're a good energy suck. The front load clothes washer everyday rebate is $75, and the manufactured home and efficiency boost is $125. And back this year is the clothes dryer rebate, $50 every day and $100 for manufactured home or efficiency boost customers. If you have a commercial account, you can still get this rebate. It just needs to be a residential appliance that you're installing. And to see our list of qualifying models and to access an application, just go to psc.com/appliances. Next slide. We also do rebates for water heating and electric hybrid heat pump water heaters. We have a instant coupon program available at Lowe's and Home Depot. Just go to pc.com/instant, put in your information, and if you qualify, they'll send you a digital coupon that you can use at checkout. If you're a manufactured home or efficiency boost customer, there's an additional $200 available to you with the post-purchase application. There's also a midstream program for this, which means that the contractor, if you're working with a contractor, they can offer you the rebate up front. And actually that applies to the smart thermostat program as well. We have rebates on natural gas tankless water heaters. They must be Energy Star qualified. The everyday is $250, and the manufactured home or efficiency boost rebate is $600. And then the natural gas storage water heater rebate is $50 for the everyday and $100 for efficiency boost or manufactured home customers. To see what models qualify and access an application, just go to psc.com water heating. Right. Next slide. And then without any further ado, I will hand it over to our esteemed Energy Advisor Program Coordinator, Emily Rigg.
Thank you, Holly. Hello, everybody. I am Emily, and I'm here to talk about our Energy Advisor service that's available to you. Next slide. So we have a number of tools available. Our Energy Advisor team is a fantastic team, experts in home energy efficiency. We're available via phone and email. So like the EMU2, that's a great device to identify what is going on in your home. That's really what we like to focus on to help you save. So we start with trying to identify what's going on. And with that, we have tools that we recommend. So the first one is our home energy assessment. It's an online survey that asks questions about your home, and you answer those questions. And then at the end of the survey, you'll see this example of the pie chart that it gives you. It's an estimated breakdown of what your home might be using based on the answers that you gave. We also have your online usage available. So you can look at the yearly view like the bar graph shows here, and then you can click into each month and it breaks it down for you daily and then even hourly if you click on the day. So that really helps highlight what is going on in the home, especially hourly, where you can see like at a certain time there was a lot of usage and you can help identify what was happening. And we're here to help with that. So you can give us a call and we can walk you through all of this. We also have additional rebates like Holly mentioned, and I can go over those. So really the big thing we see, like you see in this pie chart, is that heating makes up a lot of the usage, the majority in most homes. So these rebates I'll go over next really focus on how to reduce that heating load based on upgrades that you can make. Next slide. So the first one is our insulation rebates. These rebate values vary based on the area of the home that you're getting insulated, as well as a number of other factors. So to note here, we do require that you go with one of our recommended installers to help with this rebate. So they'll identify if the rebate's available to you and then give that to you instantly. To get the referral for that, you can give us a call, or you can also go to psc.com/rep. Next, we have our space heating rebates. So these rebates are designed for converting from electric resistant heat only. So if you have say baseboard heaters or cadet wall heaters, and you'd like to upgrade to a heat pump, we have our ductless heat pump conversion rebate for $800. We also have our $1,500 rebate if you have currently an electric furnace and you upgrade to a qualified air source heat pump. And as well, we have efficiency boost available for that too, like Holly mentioned. So make sure you check that out to see if you might be income qualified. And that boosted rebate is for $2,400 for the space heating. And last but not least, we have our windows rebates. So these rebates are similar where the rebate value varies based on the pre-existing window that you have and then what you're upgrading to. I highly recommend before you pursue this rebate and before you even start the work to check out our rebate page at psc.com/windows, and that will give you all of the information as far as the qualified requirements and all the required documentation that we need. Next slide. Okay, our last polling question. Now that you've heard about all of our rebates, which rebate would you like to take advantage of? Okay, seeing a lot of lighting. That's a great quick upgrade. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Emily. Okay, so here we have some program resources for you. So if you want to grab those here real quick, otherwise they're going to be going into the chat, so you can copy and paste them from there. And now we can go ahead and go to the next slide, and we'll jump into our Q&A. So let's get going with that. Okay, so the first question that we're going to be answering today is from Rick Turner. The cable that arrived with my EMU has a right angle connector. When plugged into the unit, the cable heads towards the bottom, in effect, towards the person viewing it. Most outlets are on walls. Why isn't the port in the unit reserved so that the cable heads away from the viewer, towards the top and likely towards an outlet? Or change the port in the right angle connector so its cable heads towards the top. The configuration does not allow mounting the unit on a surface without bending the cable away. I think the cable going up would be much better. I believe this is a question for Bill.
Yep, that's a question for me. Yeah, and thanks for the question. And you're not the first person to mention that. Unfortunately, we're kind of a victim of the current supply chain situation, and that particular right angle plug was the one that we could get, to be honest. One of the we used to have a straight plug, which is a little nicer in that regard, but that one does, if you bend it under, does have enough clearance that you can put it on a countertop. So, but it isn't ideal. I agree. One of the things you can do is use the EMU2 uses the same amount of power as a phone charger and has the same plug. So if you have an Android phone charger, it will work. So just a thought.
All right, thank you, Bill. All right, our next question comes from Rick Pockman. I cannot connect to my meter. I took my unit outside to my meter and it would not connect to the meter. I leave for a doctor appointment today. So, yeah.
So he should email the rainforest HAN@psc.com and we can help him with that. Should I respond to that question? Brian? Should I type a question or? Because the person is not on, correct? There it is. So rainforest HAN@psc.com. We've already gotten probably about 8 questions and 8 about meters not connecting, and we are responding to them right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next question comes from Rob H. What is the price per kilowatt I put into the what is the price per kilowatt I put into the rainforest meter? My zip code is 98370.
So I'll answer that. So again, there's a couple of tiers, but we've decided on the 0.10 cents. And if you cannot do that on your own, just send us an email with your name and address, and we will push the price to your meter. Thank you.
All right. Next question comes from William Hutchinson. I had a PSC upgrade or replace my, oh, give me 1 second here. I lost the question. I had a PSC upgrade. I had PSC upgrade my gas meter several months after initially getting my Rainforest EMU2 unit. Do I need to contact PSC in order to have my EMU2 connect to the new gas meter for my home? I wonder because sometimes I see a connection lost message on the EMU.
I'm a little confused on that because it's for electric meters. Again, if William can email us at the email that we provided with his name and address, we will see if we can figure out what seems to be the problem.
All right, we'll move on to the next question then. This question comes from Keith McDermott. Will the program be expanded to monitor PSC gas meters? I currently have it for my PSC electric meter and have it tied into my home automation system for real-time and daily electric usage.
I can take that one. That's great to hear, Keith, that you've tied it into your system. Right now, it's in pilot form, so we're trying to get the electric launched, and then once we're able to justify with regulators having the electric one available, then we'll probably start work on trying to show data around savings and then gas is being beneficial. So it's on the roadmap, but down the road.
Okay, next question here is from Richard Weaver. How do you reset the kilowatt used? Mine has never reset.
I guess I can take that one. So the kilowatt use, so if this is on your current usage screen and the kilowatt use doesn't change, then you have what's called the stuck demand problem. And that is a problem that stems from the meter, not from the device. And you will need to have your meter reset by the support folks, and Lisa can help you with that. If you're talking about the accumulated screen, then all you need to do is hold the top button for 5 seconds and it will reset that screen. So I'm not sure exactly which one we're talking about, but either one of those work. So.
Okay. Next question from Adam Rainick. When I get a service upgrade, how do I repair my EMU2 to the new meter?
Hi, it's Elisa. I'll respond to that. So just send us an email and make sure you put your old address and then the new address that you're moving to, and we will connect you.
Awesome. Okay. So we have another question here from William Hutchinson. How do I make sure I have set the price per kilowatt hour correctly? Right now it says 0.05 cents per kilowatt hour set by user.
I'll respond to that. Go ahead and send us an email and we will, again, with your name and your address, and we will push the 10 cents to your device to correct it.
Okay, we have a question from Sanjeev Rastaji. My device was showing very high usage recently in the night with red light continuously, even when the heat was switched off. No appliances running at the time. I even called the PSC emergency services in the night and they confirmed they are not noticing abnormal behavior on their side. May the device be defective? There was no manual that came with the device also.
I can take that one. So no, you're seeing actual usage from the meter, right? So if you see the red light come on, that means that there was some usage. This is an example of one of those things that are sort of running in the background that you don't know. Not sure exactly what the load is, but it's something worth investigating. One of the things you can do is, if you see that happen again, is you can go through again the breakers, switch them off one at a time until you see the red light go off, and then you'll know which circuit that load is on. If you want to get a manual, there is an online manual that is available. You can download it as PDF by going to the support page that the link was put up, and I guess it will be put up again. It's probably something we should send around as a follow-up email to everybody who attends, I think. But yeah, I encourage you to go there. There's lots of information there, not just the manual, but also frequently asked questions and a number of other bits of information that are very helpful.
All right, thank you. So Darren Sullivan asks, what is the sampling rate of the device? Is this an aggregate sample or just a point in time?
Good question, Darren. So our device is reading the meter every 8 seconds. And that is an instantaneous reading. So it's not an average. It is them at that exact moment. Of course, by the time you see it, it's probably a second later, but yeah, it's fairly instantaneous.
Okay. Okay, Anand Gadam asks, is there a way to find out if my power is being tapped by my neighbors?
That's a good question. Maybe, I don't know, do you have a standard procedure for that here, or maybe I'll leave that with you?
Yeah, there's no way of knowing. He'll have to call customer service and they can do it. They can check.
Yeah, I think we'd have to send out a serviceman to investigate that.
Mm-hmm.
It seems unlikely, but
Yes.
Okay, next question comes from Devin Kellogg. What is the range of the meter Wi-Fi? I was 10 to 20 feet away and still searching for meters.
So the range is about 50 feet. you know, or it can actually go longer than that. But it should be, it is a Zigbee radio, but it's the same range as Wi-Fi. And if it's searching for meters, then it's not the range. If you're that close to the meter, then it will be the meter needs to be provisioned. So for whatever reason, the information about your device didn't get into your meter. So please contact us at rainforesthan@psc.com, and they will arrange to get your meter reprovisioned.
Okay, Lisa Voth asks, my current usage price has been blank since I received it. What am I doing wrong?
I'll answer that. So Lisa's not doing anything wrong. Just for some reason, the price just didn't connect. If you can send us an email with your name and address, then we will send the price to your meter. Juan, did we lose you?
Well, it looks like we have another question from Darren Sullivan.
Here
He's saying the pilot enrollment has ended. That's true. Will this be open back up in the future? I'll leave someone else to answer that. And also, will other devices like the Eagle be able to be used? So I'll leave, maybe Holly, that's a good one for you.
I'll take that one. Yes, the pilot is closed. It's a 2-year pilot, so it probably won't be open again. So we'll go through the pilot. Our regulators will evaluate and will determine if we can justify making this a full-blown program. I'm hoping the answer is yes. And then when we do that, so that'll probably be around 2025. And when we do go live, then we probably will be using other devices like the Eagle in addition to the EMU2.
Okay, I'm back. So
Good to have you, Juan.
Sanjeev Rastaji, my device only shows yesterday and today's usage by hour and nothing else. Not sure if there are any settings to be enabled to display other data like cost per hour, etc.
Yeah, so that's a mysterious one. I did respond to that one in writing. That one, if pushing the buttons doesn't change the screen, then there's a problem with the device and we will replace it. So if you try pushing the buttons and you don't see the screen change, then please let us know and we can give you a new device.
Okay, and we have a question from an anonymous attendee. And it says here, will you be offering an upgrade to a smarter monitor like the Rainforest Eagle 200?
Not at this time.
Okay, Richard Weaver asks, using a kilowatt meter to check usage on a plug-in loads might be easier. Remind me. All right.
Yeah,
Well.
yeah, those kilowatt meters are very handy, and you certainly can use those. It doesn't give you the reading directly from your meter, but it's close enough that you can get a good idea of what it's used for. Yeah.
And I think this question was already asked, but we'll just go ahead and ask it again here. What is the range of the Rainforest Wi-Fi?
Right. So that the other question was already asked, and again, it's about 50 feet. It's affected. It actually is longer than that, but we give that as an answer because it's a nice conservative answer. The main thing to look for is, are there obstacles in the way? So things like bricks and concrete and even stucco, because stucco is supported by a wire mesh. All of those things can block radio waves. So we recommend that as long as the unit is near a window on the same side of the house as the meter, you usually can connect.
Okay. Keith McDermott asks, for emailing for pricing data, was that to be able to get tiered pricing data sent to the meter, EMU2, or just to reset back to 0.10 kilowatts?
It's just to send the, how do I explain this? Email for data if you can't do it yourself. Email us at the Rainforest email if you can't put the 10 cents yourself. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I believe the EMU2 doesn't actually do tiered pricing. It only does one. So that's part of
Yep.
the reason we did the average 10 cents. The Eagle does do 2 tiers, but we won't be able to offer that till it becomes a program.
Okay, question from Richard Weaver. Backlight only on when button pressed, even when plugged in. Any way to make it on all the time so that it can be seen from across the room?
That's a good question. Yeah, the backlight does stay on for a little while after you press the buttons, but it does eventually go out. And that really is just to lower the power. You can imagine if you have thousands of these things in the field, a few watts adds up. Yeah, we have had people ask us to have them on all the time, but then they say, well, when I turn out the lights, then it's annoying, right? So we compromise by saying that the LEDs are on all the time. So you can get a quick indication of your usage by looking at the LED, the stoplight LEDs, which are on all the time.
Okay, next question here is from Adam Brainick. Any opportunity to buy the Rainforest Eagle to use with PSC? It seems better supported with integration for home automation platforms.
So I'll take that one. Similar to I said earlier, right now for the pilot, we're using the EMU2 only. If it becomes a program, then we'd be able to offer incentives on the Rainforest Eagle.
Okay. An anonymous attendee asks, the EMU2 is approximately real time, but how often does it take a reading from the meter? It seems like it might be once every 10 seconds.
And you are very close. It's once every 8 seconds. And yeah, so I guess technically it's near real time. But yeah, that's how often it's updated. That's for in the current usage screen.
Okay, and then Rick Turner here asks, years ago, PSC offered the TickleStar Advanced Power Strip. I used 2, so maybe I guess, is it going to be offered again maybe, or? Anyone have any info on that?
Yeah, that program ended a long time ago. We no longer provide those power strips.
Yeah, I don't see that one coming back, unfortunately.
No.
Okay. Okay. Richard Weaver says, I have 2 heat pumps, have used 1 rebate. Why do you not allow 2?
I can take that one. We are able to make exceptions. It really depends on a lot of factors. So if you wanted to, you could give the energy advisors a call and we could send over a consideration request to see if we might be able to offer a second rebate. But again, there's a number of reasons why. It's based on savings captured and the size of the home. So it's case by case, but feel free to give us a call and we can look into it.
Okay, everyone, looks like we've gone to the end of today's event. If we didn't get to your question, we will make sure to answer it via email and the follow-up email. Next slide, please. So thank you all for joining us today. As I told you, we will be contacting the winners for our $100 gift card to the Home Depot on January 24th. And don't forget to fill out the post-event survey that will be coming out to you here shortly. And if you want to find us out in the community, please visit psc.com/events. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us today.